So Flash fans, we're back with a brand new episode. It feels like The Flash has been away for quite a while, and also with a brand new day as well. So we're back talking about The Flash Season 8, Episode 6, titled Impulsive Excessive Disorder. And, you know, for an episode that was pretty much, you know, self-contained as a story between that of Nora and Bart Allen, I did enjoy myself. I still don't think, like, you know, I resonate with the show's tone as of like what it turned into from earlier seasons, just to kind of like dive into that straight away, because, you know, whether that was the scene with the jewelry store heist with the guy coming out, you wouldn't really have that as of every single time in that of The Flash Season 2 and Season 3, but as of Season 4, it just kind of, you know, always maintained that lighter-hearted tone. But that being said, you know, it's not like I don't adapt and still try and find things to enjoy, so I had like a few moments here and there that, but like, I do want to say, like, it's quite interesting, despite how much I may have to criticize about modern day Flash. I don't always agree with people's criticisms, you know, maybe it's just subjective to my personal taste of that of Jessica Parker Kennedy's Nora. I always really enjoyed her, but also I do like Bart Allen. I do feel like they, especially in this episode, were a duo that was, you know, fun to watch. So, you know, let's dive throughout this episode. This episode, as I normally do when there's been a little bit of a break, might be a bit more of a generalized review rather than breaking down the nitty-gritty detail of this quantum tachyon thing that, you know, leads into that thing, if you know what I mean. I just kind of want to talk about my impression. Maybe I should save that kind of general overview for next week if you think about it, because this, other than Nora and Bart having a bit of a fun time with them, what we really have to wait for is the actual Flash storyline post-Armageddon. And what we had really at the end with Barry was him running everyone to Paris, which, how did he do that? Like, I mean, I guess it's, you know, not to get too nitpicky, I guess now he can create like a Speed Force bubble. I don't know though, because they've always established it in the show where he can carry someone maybe and save them that way. But how, you saw the amount of people there. Like, what's he doing? Like, stretching. I've got long arms, but I don't think I could, you know, stretch around that many people, but I guess Barry can. Now, as much as I somewhat had, I suppose, looking at my notes here, a little bit of a subverted expectation, I do feel like now I kind of do try and switch, and this is not intended, maybe it is a backhanded compliment, switch my brain off a little bit when trying to enjoy The Flash, because first and foremost, you know, whatever you think or are going to type in the comments, The Flash is literally one of my favorite DC Comics characters, which is why I persist and talk about this show to anyone who's just like, why are you still reviewing this show? Because I try and enjoy it. Also, a review is a review, without me ranting about this as well. Like, a review isn't always innately or inherently praising. Like, you know, I review it, I look at the good, the bad, the things I enjoy, the things I could do better, and it just tends to be that The Flash always usually has things they can do better, but that's not without its entertainment. So what I mean by this is that I feel like I try and switch my brain off a little bit, especially when it comes to The Flash's consistency of writing, God, like, let alone time travel. And this episode, there are a few things that it definitely did raise an eyebrow to. And that's what I'm trying to get at. I just feel like, you know what, I've got to notice them, but I'm just going to try and enjoy the ride. Because some of the things they did at the end of this episode, even if you just jump to Jay Garrick being saved, it just made me feel like, look, I'll hold my hands up if I'm wrong, if somebody can give me a different perspective here. But it's like, okay, well, if Jay did die and Bart Allen in the future had to deal with that, Jay is dead because of Godspeed. You know, this isn't present day, by the way. It's still Jay having been alive for all of those years. You know, he still saw the kids grow up and stuff, but he died. It's just like, well, why can't you actually bring Barry's mother back then? Do you know what I mean? It's just like, well, like, if the new timeline is like okay-ish for now, and Jay is back, and, you know, he's got his wife, and things are seemingly back to normal by the end of the episode, it just feels like they dart over the place about, oh, this means this about time travel, why you shouldn't time travel. And even though they did make that apparent in this episode and made jokes of like, you know, if being a speedster and not time traveling and screwing up what was like a requirement, your dad would, you know, definitely not be, or something like that. I like that line from Jay Garrick, but what I'm trying to say is this show is never consistent with the repercussions, the consequences of time travel, and then, oh, you know, you can do something like save someone and there's not really much of a butterfly effect. And by the way, with that hairbrush disappearing at the end of the episode before anyone says, oh, but no, Bobby, you're wrong. Like, that means that, no, I think what they're addressing there is the Iris storyline that Eric Wallace said they're continuing this season. Like, that's meant to, I think, speak larger to, you know, that kind of stopper they put in Iris being fractured throughout time. I think that was her hairbrush that was being used and disappeared. I think that's just meant to tease, oh, that's what's coming next. But getting back to what I was saying, it just feels like, yeah, like if Jay Garrick could just be brought back, why not bring anyone back, you know? But oh, you can't, because for those characters, there's a reason and a repercussion and a consequence. But you can do it with Jay Garrick. I don't know, maybe this is a wasted segment of this review because someone might come back and give me a good reason as to why that worked, but I don't know. I do feel like that I'm echoing some kind of thing that The Flash doesn't always or isn't always consistent with. But nevertheless, I did like how Nora and Bart this episode did feel like I was reading a comic book there. It really did. Like, I do feel like, even though there were some moments where, you know, and I do feel like they're both good actors, maybe it's the lines they're given to be, like, really fair here. It just feels like sometimes it comes across overacted or somewhat of a disingenuous line where it's like, oh, they're, like, squabbling, or, like, Nora's just like, you know, well, first we have to, you know, do all this, and it's just like, I don't know, like, maybe they're just too older for, like, how younger they're meant to be. I think that's something that a few fans have echoed as well. I guess, you know, what I'm trying to say is if they were given these same lines and they were drawn in animation and they really were Bart Allen Impulse and Nora XS, it would be a bit more believable. But like with them being the way they are this episode, it wasn't all the time. I do want to stress that. It's just maybe some of you can resonate with how I'm feeling here. There was sometimes more than others where there was like a little bit of dialogue, cheesy squabble, and it just didn't feel like genuine dialogue, I guess. And this whole plot line was just, you know, after returning back, after the wedding vows, Jay Garrick's little helmet stand thing in their apartment or whatever went missing because a temporal wave washed over them, and it's like, well, shit, they kind of have their own flashpoint to fix. Like, this arguably is just as big. There were so many repercussions, and this is what I mean by praising it in terms of it did feel like I was reading like an issue of like an adventure of Nora and Bart Allen, you know, because they were trying to fumble their way through it, and I do find them both charming castings. That's one thing that I enjoyed about this. It's just, I can't really take the show so seriously in terms of the plot and the severity of this because of what I've already aforementioned with my kind of like lack of repercussions and consequences. Oh no, but even when it's resolved, there's something that just contradicts other things in the past and things like that. Without retreading that, you know kind of what I'm trying to address there. The show does do that thing as well when they go to the Flash Museum where they're somewhat like kind of recapping like what we already know, and I do find like sometimes, I mean, some people may actually find that really useful, fair enough, but sometimes it's just like, okay, even though we've shown this in the past, we're going to tell the audience exactly what they know. Like, you know, we chase Godspeed through time using the cosmic treadmill. To be honest, a lot of network kind of TV shows do this. It's like, you may have seen something in the episode and it's like, hey, let's get this kind of dialogue between characters where we recap what happened, even though we've shown that, and it's like, well, do people really do that in real life? I don't know. And before anyone says it, oh, but this isn't real life, but just no. That is always like the worst defense I can ever hear for like why I might be criticizing something, and it's like, but it's not real life. But at least this scene does set up, you know, the temporal fissures, because the cosmic treadmill wasn't designed to take three species, so Godspeed and then Nora back then and Bart running after him with what led to them traveling back in time and helping Mum and Dad in the Godspeed War, which, you know, sent out this ripple effect and messiness. It even got to the point of where Jay didn't even marry Aunt Joan. So they had quite a bit to fix. When they're in the Flash Museum as well, we got like a little Booster Gold reference, but they found out the point in time that they feel like everything started changing from there on out, and that's where Papa Joe got shot at a jewelry heist. And they figured we need to go back there to kind of really figure out and maybe even prevent the ripple effect from happening. And I did like just seeing a season 1 Flash kind of vibe again. Like, I even felt like they did a really good job at making Iris look like season 1. Not that Candace Patton looks old or anything, it's just, it goes to show that if you just like remove certain parts of the makeup and give her that outfit, I was like, blimey, like, wait, what? Like, I know I'm just dedicating a whole part of this review to that, but like, it was nice to see her flirting with Eddie, not to mention even Eddie. It's great seeing him. Like, it's such a nostalgia, like, kind of, I guess, a little bit of a member berry kind of thing, where it's just like, hey, Eddie Thawne. You know, this is why I still try and find enjoyment in this show, and do, you know, to be candid here, and have enjoyment. Despite, like, the many issues I have, I am a sucker for things. Like, you know, the Jurassic Park film that is coming out, you know, even though it might not be the greatest movie in the world, they could be like, hey, remember that from Jurassic Park 1? Hey, remember Sam Neill? He's here saying that. Oh, do you remember? It is a nostalgia kind of baity hitter thing, but hey, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of works sometimes, and I'm not gonna deny the charm that has, and it was fantastic seeing Eddie again. They leaned heavily into the characteristics of both these characters. I love how rational Nora is. She's a bit more of the, I need everything in order, first we need to formulate a plan, and then figure out like this, and then we have literally Bart just kind of rushing in. It's like, oh, can we please, or even just get the coffee now, and it's like, Bart, what don't you understand about not changing? So again, just to kind of praise the castings, despite some of the cringe dialogue at times, if I'm being really bluntly honest here, the castings themselves I really, really, really like them. And they still, to me, are the characters. Like, they're doing a good job of that. And hey, Avery Ho. First and foremost, let me say that I really like this actor for Avery Ho. And the kind of love at first sight thing they had. At first sight, like, I think she's really charming. I really like the actress. She's just really I just want to see more of her. She's like really endearing, and I just feel like the chemistry is great on screen. It was just nice. It's like, hey, I could actually really enjoy seeing you in the show more often, which is kind of a rare feeling to have. Like, I didn't feel that way with Allegra straight away. I enjoyed Chester a lot more than I think some other people did. But I don't know, there was something about Avery Ho this episode, and maybe you guys will agree with me in the comments. That's like, damn, I really feel like I would like to see you somehow involved more with Team Flash. I mean, I know this is back in the past, but maybe in present day, your theory is, well, as this episode was proved with her confirmation because of Bart and Nora and whatnot, but I wonder where things can go with that. Again, to me, it's a shame to see it. I know a lot of people have moved past this, and there's also a lot of people like me who just kind of can't move past it, but try and see the nuggets within those ores, if you will, with my word analogies, that we can take out of it. But like, when Bart and Nora speed in, and like she feels like, oh, this is espionage and stuff, and it's just like, if that was a genuine reaction, you wouldn't be as comedically like like that, just kind of memeing about it at the same time. Like this, I feel like that scene, despite how much I love this casting of Avery Ho and what she brings to the role and just the quirkiness to her, again, I can keep praising her. It's just these scenes never come across serious. The show, I think, once upon a time, for years, despite the quirky moments in season 1, 2, and 3, had the serious things. They would have tried to deliver that a bit more seriously. Like the bank robbery bit where that guy just comes out wearing the jewelry. Is like, I'm only taking the ethically sourced diamonds, It's just like... Look, the thing is, I would be lying if I didn't see the kind of energy behind that. Like, I was kind of half enjoying myself at the same time. I'm not gonna lie about it, I can't. But I still have a preference, and that is what the show set up within multiple years of those beginning seasons. That's where I think a lot of the frustration out of passion from fans like me comes from. But, I completely comprehend now, especially with Eric Wallace on board, that I think they do care, but like they won't care to get back to that. They will have those moments sprinkled in the show. There's not going to be without drama, and there has been serious moments even under Eric Wallace's showrunner days on the show, but it's still got this, like, this is the filter they're using now. And that's why I go back to that Avery Ho scene. It's not really a massive important scene to dig into, to be honest. The jewelry heist one with the guy wearing the jewelry and acting like that is more of the personified perfect quintessential example of the Flash these days. But yeah, I guess I was just getting to, if Avery Ho was really, feeling that way, she wouldn't have been as memey and just like comedic about it. And, the way Bart and Nora's, it's just like a continuous sketch, it feels like. And how can I really ever take the show too much seriously when it's repeatedly like that? But hey, I'm still watching it, so maybe I'm just watching it out of getting any slither of Flashness I can. By the way, everyone, they realized that they screwed up even more, but this is why. It's just like, if things like that screw up the timeline even more, at the fundamental part of the end of the day, Jay Garrick being alive should still be a fundamental change. I don't understand this show sometimes. They try and make it seem like it's like, hey, we're making sense, but it's... Why am I asking these questions? I shouldn't really anymore, We also got the origins of the Royal Flush Gang. If I'm being honest, I preferred them in this episode than what we had beforehand. Like, I really found it really cheesy when we first saw them properly. This was still cheesy. Like, I get they're the Royal Flush Gang, but that, like, hard-ass guy just smashing it, it's like, no, she's a queen. I just wish there was some, like, even, it would have just been more believable. It's like, if they were forming the gang, they were like, okay, let's, you could be the queen, you could be the Jack, it's just like, but to frame it, it's like, no, she's a queen. It's just the cheese of what the Flash is these days. And even I'm fine with, like, them referring to each other as their monikers, like Queen. But, like, the whole My Queen thing is just a bit... It's just, like, it's the cheesiness. But there was just, like, the typical ridiculous Flash moments. Like, these metahumans are, okay, like, there's a job, there's a score, casino, 10 mil, whatever. And then the guy's, I'm sick of hiding who I am. He smashes. Fair enough. He shows his power. But then we just have Jack being like, so am I. And uses the heat vision. I get you want to do something cool. And that heat vision allowed the other Royal Flush Gang member to show off her powers by doing that backflip, but it just makes absolutely no sense. Like, what did Jack, when lowering the glasses, go like that and then aim the heat vision demonstration of power for all they knew to just slice through her, but luckily they did the backflip. Do you see what I mean? Like, you're seeing it. This isn't a fundamental thing to the plot, it's just an example of what this show kind of does again and again and again and again and again and again, and quite often with the main characters, which is why sometimes those episodes are so frustrating. But you get what I'm trying to say, without repeating it too much more, but one more time. Hey, yeah, you're a part of the gang member. I know they're crooks and criminals, but I doubt that Jack wanted to completely kill this other member or would-be member. But hey, let's reveal my power. Aim at her. The laser is going at her. And let's just hope that she flips in time. It's just... I know some people don't care about that, but I don't get how. It's just ridiculous, I know it's a real cool moment, but like, no, this show, just watching Superman and Lois. I know I'm a bit all over the place in this review with, like, what I'm enjoying and what I just still can't really fathom, but Superman and Lois, like, CW, you really need to, like, just somehow invade these other series and be like, no, you need to get your shit together. And I know Grant Gustin, he's, like, signed on for another season, but we'll save this to the end, I suppose. Let's just cut to it. Nora basically finally comes across the bombs. I'm pretty sure being in that photo was just, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but it did feel like a bit of a piss take to me, like, just in terms of Nora and Nora and Bart, god damn it, how many times am I gonna say that? After everything, it's like, we can't do this, we can't even use our speed if, like, this is what I mean about this show. We can't even use our speed. She says that in the coffee line. Yeah, only when necessary, yet you will be in a photograph? That is forever documented? Like, I don't know. And then, either way, I did enjoy, like, Avery and Bart finally, like, kissing. Like, I don't know, maybe call me a hopeless romantic or whatever for these things, but maybe I just like them together. That was nice. I want to see more of her. Yeah, I like that. Maybe I just like Avery. I don't know. We also had Jay Garrick saying, and I think this is a reference to his Stargirl time, maybe, because he said, heck, when I first started to time travel, I ended up fighting those people in World War II, then lived on and off in the past for 16 years. But that was another lifetime. Now, the reason why I say that is because during Stargirl Season 2, not really spoilery here, but in a flashback, and that's why I say it's flashback, because it was set in the past. This is when Courtney, was extremely young or whatever. So it makes sense how, like, he was living in the past on and off and how he could have been a part of the JSA. But I do still argue the continuity really isn't still tightly knit there, because we do have that Earth being a separate Earth. Stargirl was on Earth 2, and after Crisis, Jay's was formerly on Earth 2, the old Earth 2, but is on Earth Prime. So it's such a mind feck, if you know what I mean, with regards to, like, post-Crisis, Stargirl is still on Earth 2, so how does that work? Yeah, I know there's that comic book tie-in where somehow Stargirl's gonna meet our characters. I wish that was live action for such a big event, like, for those characters to meet. It shouldn't be in a comic book. I'm not saying a comic book's a bad idea, I'm just saying the event like that should probably be on screen for the first time. And yeah, I think that's everything, other than the brush disappearing, but we already kind of went over that, and they all went off to Paris, and I have to admit, guys, look, this was, like, an entertaining self-contained episode, but even then it had its issues, and we still have the actual Flash show to get back to. For example, with Barry and what's going on there. When I look at this promo that you're seeing on screen right now for 807 Lockdown, and we have the Daddy Likes the Metal guy coming back, and it's just... you know, I'm gonna, like, check it out. I might give another video if you guys want me to. Well, I will, but, like, I guess after that, you know, I'm really gonna just have to assess it. I'm sure there's lots of people who are like, yay, Boba's not gonna, you know, have critical thinking for The Flash anymore. Like, all of this is still really in good faith. Like, if this show was, like, really decent, I would literally say so. But I really don't know if it's for me now, and I think I probably will be better served giving my time into other videos that I can do. That's never saying I won't do a Flash video again. And hey, please bear in mind, before people comment on next week's review saying, I thought you weren't making Flash reviews anymore. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is I will check out next episode, but every now and again, if you might not see a Flash video or a review, or it might be up late or something like that, that's because it is at the complete bottom of my priority list. I still check it out for an entertainment factor because other than Batman being a vigilante, my favorite metahuman of DC is the Flash, Barry Allen. Like, no question there. So, as a result, though, with the way this is going and just, you know, like, I just literally just saw this promo paused in between me talking here in the cuts. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I really do think the Flash should end this season. It's not going to. And, you know, I think next season, if it should do the Arrow thing where they just have 10 episodes, and instead of saying a backdoor pilot for Excess and like Impulse show or something like that, just make it a 10 episode or an 8 episode solid goodbye to the Flash. But hey, I know there's a lot of people, probably hundreds of thousands or more fans out there who this completely caters to their standards of entertainment and everything like that, and they absolutely love it. And I'm really happy that people still really enjoy this show, but I think as a long-term Flash fan, it's still not really doing it for me. I enjoyed this one as a bit of a self-contained thing, as I keep echoing throughout this review. Even then, you know, I had my gripes, obviously. And just getting back to the status quo of Barry and Star Labs and what's going on there, it just doesn't seem it for me. You know, it's nothing to do with me, like, moving on or past the CW or the Flash, because I still really enjoy Stargirl, Superman and Lois. You know, still not the most perfect show in the world, but my God, is it like, here's the Flash, but Superman and Lois goes layer upon layer. They're climbing that rungs of that ladder more and more and more. Like, it is a lot more well thought out. It is a lot more planned behind the scenes and written, and I can go on forever with praising how that show is really going about catering to a decent, well thought out story. And this show just feels like, hey, you know what? Like, we're going to try and, you know, I'm not saying the writers and Eric don't try to make something they believe in. What I'm trying to say is, like, they're just like, you know, let's just go with this groove that we have that the show didn't used to be, and, you know, like, we put that behind us. We're owning this new kind of flamboyant style, and, you know, we're going to chuck in some sincerity, and I'm not saying it's without its drama or anything there and whatnot, but, like, you know, this is it, you know, now, and if people don't like it, I guess they don't like it. I truly think they think that, you know, screw the people who are really hating on it, and we're gonna have fun. You know, we're gonna have fun. You know, we're gonna resolve a lot of things with the love pep talks and things like that. We've heard Eric Wallace talk in many interviews before and how he doesn't really like the violence of, like, just Flash fighting, so to speak. It's just like, okay, well, fair enough. This isn't the show I, like, watched the first few years, so that's where I'm at still. Like, even after watching this episode, this is why I gave this breakdown at the end, because it's just like, eh. So, yeah, maybe expect a review next week. Probably got to do one. Don't know when it will be out. Maybe Thursday. A day after, whatever, like today. But just don't be surprised if I'm not going to do this every week anymore. But I probably will, even if I do slow down the coverage, do, like, these bulk reviews. Like, let's just say I skip a couple of weeks, I will be giving my thoughts as of that episode and what I've thought of it recently. Like I've kind of did with Batwoman before I truly gave up on it. But we're gonna have to wait and see. I would like your feedback in the comments as well with regards to that. But don't worry, reviews aren't stopping now. I'm gonna carry on next week. Who knows, if I love next week, I'll be like, right, I'll be back the following week. But I just wanted to put it out there that I am really holding on. Like, you know, both my hands were, like, on the bar. But then it's like, God, I'm holding on with one arm now. Oh, no, there's one finger left on the bar. I could bet, oh, God, I'm about to fall. So it's kind of like that mode. But anyway, guys, let me know what you thought of The Flash this week. Like the video if you did enjoy it. Do check out my other coverage on the channel, whether that be the Batman videos, my recent Obi-Wan videos. If you're a fan of the Disney Plus Obi-Wan series that is coming, oh man, I get into a good reaction yesterday through fanboying out, and also I break down in another video some character details and tidbits and episode 1 images. But other than that, everyone, links as always in the description down below, Twitter, Instagram, Discord. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you speedsters in the next video. Goodbye.